Ladies and gentlemen, you've been wondering the last couple of days, where has Sportswire Radio been? Usually people wake up and they see yours truly on the air. Well, I promise you I'm going to make up for the last 48 hours because we're going to do a little different here something tonight. Yes, we're going to talk about some things that our gentlemen, I'm sure, are going to have on their minds when it comes to the state of affairs in the world of Tennessee backyard wrestling, but also we're going to talk about some other things that you might not be accustomed to our guests to talk about here and some. They need no further introduction here on Sportswire Radio. One of them here, of course, is in our Hall of Fame. He's our fifth member of the Sportswire Radio Hall of Fame. Another one here we've acknowledged as our hardcore king, and of course we call him Hollywood Atomic Titan. But I can go on and on and on about these guys. I know people have been waiting for minute after minute. Where are these guys? Well, it's on me because I was behind and I was the diva that took all the time in the world to get here. But forget about all that. It's Thursday night. Everybody wants to talk. We're going to get right to it. But before we do that, gentlemen, you have to get that introduction that we always give you. You're a Hall of Famer. You had your own day, and obviously you've also are a hardcore king officially acknowledged here on Sports by Radio. So let's get right to it. So with that, without further ado here on the Sports Report, the number one sports show, member of the Sportswire Radio Hall of Fame, the owner and founder of Tennessee Backyard Wrestling. His name is Joshua Allen, and the reigning, defending TBW Hardcore Champion, the only Grand Slam winner, and TBW history, the man that the likes of Mikey Anarchy, Jimmy Controversy, Hardcore, Obey, maybe even Omen Black Fear, acknowledge your hardcore king of Sportswire Radio. His name is Hollywood Atomic Titan. The champ is here. Fellas,
Yes.
how you doing?
Doing good.
Doing pretty good.
You know what I felt like just now, before we get into other things, I'll say hello to people. I felt like if you remember watching the British Bulldog and he always hang in the air with that suplex, I felt like when I was doing your intro, literally the last like 10 seconds of that, I felt like the British Bulldog. First of all, though, happy belated birthday.
Thank you.
Thank you very
that.
much. And gentlemen, yes, how are you doing? And I guess, obviously, we'll talk about some things that are on your mind outside of the world of TBW. But obviously, it's been a while since season finale 7. Obviously, we're all talking about what happened. But, gentlemen, I'd obviously like to see what's on your mind in the world of TBW and get us ready for season 8. By the way, we're just kicking off in a little over, I think, a month or so from now. So I know we're still in February, but the good news is we're about 6 weeks or so until spring, which means we're going to spring ahead as TBW is getting ready for another season and maybe even talk about that famous thing that we saw a few weeks ago on Barstool, which everybody is still talking about. But I'll start with you, Mr. Allen, of course, our Hall of Famer, one of our own. How are you? And what can we look forward to here coming up in season finale, season 8 after season finale 7.
Well, first off, thank you, Tom, for the introduction for myself with the champ. And I tell you what, it's been a tremendous, tremendous, ending for TW in the last season. Now we're starting up with season 8, which will be next month. We're closing in, folks. We're heading fast. And but yeah, season finale was in the books. What an event it was! Great matches. As everybody's seeing the opening program, I made a comeback to the promotion, and that was heartfelt, to say the least. But nonetheless, what an event it was! Great matches back to back. Resurrection.
Oh,
Wanted
I'm
to show
so
what they
looking
had.
forward to Resurrection.
Yeah.
I am so pumped up. I have an
Mhm.
announcement actually for Resurrection Wrestling in your chair next Thursday. We have a massive guest related to Resurrection. So I am pumped up for Resurrection next week.
Yeah, Resurrection next week.
Nice,
It's gonna be a
nice.
great show.
Oh my
It's
God,
gonna
I
be a great
can't
show.
wait. And we got now, did you see the announcement? It's going to be title on the line. We're going to wind up having Dustin Alexander, the Machine, his hardcore championship on the line now against the Wild Beast Adrian Prince, the world champion. There, it's title for title, winner take all. I am so pumped up for that match.
I didn't even know that. That's
It literally was just announced on the Resurrection Wrestling page from our
That's
interviewer
awesome.
Steven Silvestri yesterday. Yep.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
Can't wait to see that.
I saw that. Yeah.
Oh my
It's gonna
goodness.
be a good one.
And we've seen both these guys in TBW, and Dustin Alexander only holds a victory over Jimmy Controversy. I mean, that was like, oh my, I cannot wait for that match. The other news was today it was announced that Neff is coming back for one more match, and he's going up against Internet champion D'Angelo LaFlame. And guess what? Now it's title versus career.
Oh my gosh. Title versus career. That's we've been through a few of those, me and Josh.
Oh, you guys haven't. And D'Angelo LaFlame, if you saw his promo, which is on the Resurrection Wrestling YouTube page and Steven Silvestri's Instagram page, I mean, D'Angelo LaFlame basically went off like there was no tomorrow. So a lot of great stuff in Resurrection. And also, we've got the four-way match, and we don't know the fourth person. We've got Mikey Anarchy, a man no stranger to Sportswire, Jimmy Controversy, a guys you know very well, Mac 10. I mean, and we don't know who the fourth person is, and they're all in a cage. I mean, who knows? You might be the hardcore king, and we know, by the way, Mikey Anarchy, Jimmy Controversy, and Mac 10, they want nothing to do with you.
Yeah,
But I mean, those guys in a cage. I mean, listen, that's why the good news is they don't want nothing to do with you, because ultimately we know that the three of them and that mystery person, they're gonna kill each other anyway, and you're gonna be forever known as the hardcore king.
Yep, you're right, and I might show up next week. You never know.
Well, I mean, I certainly hope so. We have a big announcement in a little while. I'm going to actually have toured next Thursday for a Resurrection Wrestling guest here. So I really can't wait about that. But, anything you guys want to talk about? Obviously, we saw a new champion in TBW, Russell Cooper. We saw Commissioner Beast. And obviously, it appears there's an alliance there with the Prophet Jay Wild. And I also want to put it out there that Commissioner Beast, yes, he's been using the same music for 4 years now, so we can put that to bed now. So we had an individual come on to Sportswire, and God bless him, but Commissioner Beast is Commissioner Beast, and you definitely don't want any part of that beast, especially now if you got Jay Wild on your side, apparently. So let's certainly put that baby to bed. But certainly here there's a new law of the land here in TBW and a new world champion. And what's your guys' thoughts on all that?
The whole this alliance with
Beast and Wild,
with Jay Wild was totally unexpected. I think everybody in the back was shocked. The audience was shocked, and I couldn't believe myself. I was beside myself, and
I figured something like that would happen.
Well, you kind of, in a way, probably did more than Mr. Allen, because you've had your dealings with Mr. Beast, and obviously that was quite a bit toward the last several episodes of Season 7. And again, I mean, maybe we did see it coming. I mean, and maybe we should have looked and maybe agreed with you for all this time.
Yep, for real. And Beast, Season 8. I'm the hardcore champion. You better not try to screw me over. I know if you're still commissioner by then, or you'll probably push Jay Wild to be in the main event scene, obviously, but he's gonna have to get past me. He don't get it. He don't get it that easy.
Well,
So
I think the person that's going to have even more of a difficult time is the man that cashed in on the champion who actually defeated
Gage.
Jay Wild, the Nature Boy Gage Flair, because Russell Cooper, we saw
Mhm.
kind of sweep right in there, and he's now our champion. He usurped the Nature Boy Gage Flair, but I think it's Russell Cooper that may have the biggest target on anybody's back in TBW because Gage Flair is going to want to settle that score.
Yep.
You've got Jay Wild, and he's obviously lurking. You've got Beast. I'm sure he's got opinions. So and you're right around the corner. So, I mean, if I'm Russell Cooper right now, I would want to be sleeping with one eye open, more or less.
Yeah, I have a score to settle with Russell Cooper also because I previously beat him. So, I think I deserve a rematch there. We could do like Resurrection, hardcore champion versus world champion, winner take all.
Well, you know what? And I know it's funny because Sunday on the air, we were speaking with King Rage, and he's obviously defeated Russell Cooper. He defeated him, and he's also was talking about his own claims to things. We were also talking about Dustin Alexander, who was on there a couple weeks ago, and he wrestled obviously Russell Cooper, and he came up short. So there's a lot of people, it seems like, that are intertwined with Russell Cooper. I feel like almost like every guest on Sportswire recently somehow, in some way, is intertwined with Russell Cooper.
Yep. And I believe Gage Flair will probably get his rematch come season 8 also. And then it'll just come into play. I already see it happening. And the whole prophecy. I wonder what happened with Triple J though. I assume he's hurt after taking those.
The beatdown he got. Yeah, that's a good question.
Down.
I haven't heard a word from Triple J since the beatdown. I don't know what's going on with the guy. I don't know. I have no
he might be in a
confirmation on
hospital.
it.
You never know.
He might actually need, I guess, what would it be? AAA service in terms of repairing his body.
Yeah. Oh,
sorry.
He'll need something.
Well, safe to say that the Nature Boy Gage Flair isn't wooing around town right now because he might be, let's say, wooing or licking some of his wounds after his very, very brief run as the TBW World Champion, as we saw in season finale 7.
And how long was that reign?
10 seconds? 15?
No, it has to be longer than that.
A minute? 2?
It's probably a little bit over a minute. I'd say at least 3 minutes.
Do we have like a record book that counts that?
I would say I think the shortest world champion would be I think Josh. I think it would be you.
Was it less than 30 seconds you're running as champion?
Well, let's see. Josh beat. It was the very first season finale.
Season 1.
You beat me, and then immediately your brother cashed in on you.
That would come out to be less than 30 seconds is what I thought, about less than 30 seconds. Maybe.
Yeah.
Well, we're not going to revisit that, but I am going to revisit some comments because people want to say hello. I want to say hello to Mr. Drake Golddragon because speaking of Rage, we had Mr. Rage on, and that's going to be another great match, Rage versus Golddragon. I cannot wait to see what happens there for the national championship, and they're going to also
It's going to be a good one.
I am so excited about Resurrection show, and you can watch the show, by the way, in case you guys aren't there or obviously performing, on the TikTok page of Resurrection Wrestling. So I'm really excited about that. They've got a great show. They've even got a show already announced, St. Patrick's Day weekend. They're going to be in a bar, and I think it's a good time for me to actually make an announcement because, gentlemen, in your chair next Thursday night, you'll never guess who's here. The West Memphis Kid, Ronnie Brady, is live here on Sportswire Radio.
Nice.
He's going to talk about the Wild Beast, Adrian Prince. He's going to certainly talk about King Rage, Drake Golddragon. He's going to talk about Steven Silvestri. He's going to talk about Dustin Alexander. I mean, he's got a mouthful of things to say, and you're going to get that chance here live on Sportswire Radio on all of our platforms. So really excited to have the West Memphis Kid, Ronnie Brady. It was something that we've actually wanted to have on for a while. Technically, he's quote-unquote been on the air on Sportswire Radio because a few months back we had on Joseph Tibbs, and Ronnie Brady was kind of in the background for a minute or two. You were actually on that stream, but now we're going to get him here live in the Flesh and Wound to talk all things about Lockdown. And Lockdown is such a stacked card. I can't wait. It's almost like the Go Home show, before lockdown because we got Ronnie Brady literally less than 48 hours before that.
That's
And we're in a
awesome.
new venue as well, by the way.
Yeah, Growlers in Memphis, like basically downtown.
Yeah, they're gonna have a big crowd, by the way. I was speaking with
the sponsor is gonna be there, Create a Sig, and they'll be giving out merchandise, everything.
Well, Sportswire Radio was also a sponsor of Resurrection because on our platform throughout the month, it is Resurrection Wrestling Month. So I have a lot of people, though, that want to say hello. I want to make another announcement here to kick off our show tomorrow night, 10 o'clock Eastern. Yes, we're going to talk SmackDown. I'm going to ask these guys about what happened at the press conference. I'm going to ask these guys about what's going to happen in the Super Bowl. But I'm going to bring them on here. I'm going to let them talk about WWE. But I'm also going to give him his day into the Sportswire Radio Hall of Fame for a few minutes. We're going to talk about him. He is now a Christian rapper, but his name is C2K, and I'm going to give him his chance to be in history on the Sportswire Radio Hall of Fame. So I'm going to let him obviously be here. So C2K, congratulations. You're going to take your place in history, 10 o'clock Eastern time on all Sportswire Radio platforms. So yes, you'll certainly be believing in God, and you're going to tell me your thoughts on what happened at the press conference and more. So thank you for that. I want to say hello to my buddy Big Tex from DBW, the big man of DBW. We are not quite in Tex country. We're in Tennessee country. I don't know. What do they call Tennessee country? Do they call
the volunteer state, I guess.
The Vols.
Volunteer state, yeah.
Big shout out to the volunteer state because we have a Hall of Famer going into the Baseball Hall of Fame, Todd Helton, University of Tennessee grade, who, oh, by the way, backed up Peyton Manning. So big shout out to the Vols, by the way, and Big Tex, of course, from DBW country. And I want to say hello to you, Zach Attack. Yes, Zach, thank you for tuning in. And you can sub to us on YouTube at Sportswire Radio 6579. I want to say hello to Jordan Beardown. How you doing, Jordan? Nice to meet you. Nice to see you. I have here Turt T. Oh, okay. I think I know this. Okay, this is somebody from overseas who's certainly from another country, and his name is Bob Costin, if he's alive. I didn't even know Bob Costin was alive. I thought he was almost like in an obituary on a wrestling card somewhere. But thank you, Bob, for tuning in and fly. I think his comment got. Oh, there we go. Fly me out in some booze for the weekend. And I'll have a wrestle. I think you might be a travel liability. I think in that case, if you've had too many already. So, but thank you though, Bob. Give me a sub on YouTube at Sportswire Radio 6579. And where have you been? Maybe you have to come on camera this time on Sportswire Radio because we spoke with you like 3 years ago and you weren't on camera. So now it's time to come on camera. But thank you, Bob. Good to see you once again. My buddy Michael Blackheart, XCW, just had a show, Cold Day in Hell. I watched half the show and then was on a podcast and came on here. And it was a great show. Check it out on XCW Shelbyville. Yes, these are the great, beautiful faces. Mine, not so much. Not so much. Commissioner Beast, anything you guys want to say to Commissioner Beast, by the way?
Disappointed.
Disappointed?
Fraud.
Yeah. Why are you disappointed?
Why? That's my question. Why?
He sold out.
But maybe he made the right decision.
Okay, look. I know I might have sold out, but what he did, he sold out to the devil himself. That's Jay Wild. Not right. They should have done the right thing.
My ears are ringing. Thank you, Commissioner Beast. My voice is ringing. I want to say hello to Jules NYC out there. Jules, how you doing? Hope that you're enjoying the show. Hope that you get a chance to see one of your favorites in the Atomic Titan. And yes, you love it. Well, I think that Jules is loving our show tonight, and we love having Jules on the show. Jules, thank you for tuning in, and I look forward to what you have to say tonight. And yes, good evening to you as well. Hey, I want to say hello to my buddy Daniel Banner, the cosplay kid, also up in England. We got our people from the UK up. You know why they're up? Because we're going to talk about it here in a few minutes. That press conference was definitely wild. Let's go, Josh. Yes, thank you, Mr. Gold Dragon. I want to say hello to my buddy, another Hall of Famer, Nicholas Crenson, the new Messiah who was in your chair Thursday. How you doing, Nicholas? And Nicholas is growing a beard, by the way. I hope that the beard will certainly give you some good luck next weekend at the IMF show, King of the Sense. I was trying to be funny. I'm working on my stand-up comedy.
Yeah.
Yes, you can be on my show sometime. I promise you're going to come on Sportswire. I've been booked like literally every day on Sportswire. But yes, you're on the agenda. I promise you're going to get there. Definitely. It's almost like going to Disneyland after you win the Super Bowl. They say, I'm going to go to Disneyland or Disney World, and you're going to come here. I promise you. Don't worry about it. Let's get to more comments. Thanks, guys. I appreciate it. God bless you guys. Yes, thank you. And I know there was something that I want to send my condolences to you on something for. So my thoughts and prayers to you. And thank you, Bob, for subbing. I appreciate that. I didn't know. I can't see who subs, but thank you for subbing. And I don't even know. Are you still wrestling in the LWF? By the way, let me know. I'd love to know. I told you Jules has a fan. You have a fan there, Mr. Titan. And
Thank you.
yes, you will be on the show. I promise you're going to be on the show. Don't worry about it. Love you all. Can't wait to be on the show tomorrow night. Yes, we're going to definitely celebrate with you. Thank you, Zach. And I promise you, Zach, you're going to be on the show. I promise you. Maybe next weekend or the following week. That's when I'm going to put you on the thing here. How you doing there? I don't know who you are, but I want to say hi to you. So how you doing, Jessica? Hope you're doing well. Sub for us on YouTube. We're also on Twitch. We're at Sportswire Radio 6579. Also, Nicholas Crenton. Good. I'm happy that you're working on you promised us gold, so bring me gold next time you're on Sportswire Radio. And yes, I would love to have you on Sportswire Radio. Yes, you can definitely come on Sportswire. You got to come on the show. You got to tell me when. And you're wrestling, Bob. Tell me when you wrestle. Okay, you know what? I got a lot of new people in here, so maybe let's talk about the press conference. People, we'll come back to TBW. So let's ask you guys something different, because obviously you guys aren't quote unquote when we usually see you here and it's rah rah rah. We're gonna get you. I'm gonna kill you. But actually, there was some of that a little while ago,
Right.
over in Las Vegas, Nevada. Because it seems to me, is Roman Reigns and The Rock potentially maybe seeing eye to eye more than we realized? And is it look like now, can Cody finish the story at WrestleMania? I mean, gentlemen, what do you think about what we just saw a little short while ago in Las Vegas? It looks like now we're going to get a chance to see if Cody can finish that story.
Well, I mean, what an ending to a press conference. I mean, that's Rock, shaking hands with his cousin Roman and everything. Man, it's just, I mean, I think people got him for a loop. I guess you could say that got him for a loop, the whole Rock and thing. And now all of a sudden, Cody is going to get the opportunity to finish the story. And a lot of people, a lot of people, they'll read the dirt sheets, everything does, they haven't read the dirt sheets, and the whole "we want Cody" phenomenon was going on there for a little bit with the whole Rock, thing, and people. I mean, people's gonna say, "Is it a work? Is it not a work? Is Rock gonna screw Cody over? Is Rock gonna turn on his own bloodline?" I don't know. I mean, but I mean,
no, I think what's gonna happen.
I mean, you got your film.
I don't know if Seth Rollins is. I don't know if Seth Rollins is like able to wrestle by Elimination Chamber. But you see how
he has a meniscus tear, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, I know. But if it's possible, I mean, I could see a tag team match there.
True.
Possibly at Elimination Chamber.
I mean, if Seth is cleared by then, more than likely, and if Triple H has got if he's,
it would be perfect if like Dustin wasn't in AEW, and you could have Rock and Roman versus Cody and Dustin Goldust,
which would be a great way to kind of almost in a way put a bow on his career. Because if you look at Dustin Rhodes' career, he's never been quite a guy that could be at the main event. He's obviously been a different champion in multiple companies, but never quite been that top guy. So in a way, Dustin could really finish the story of his career. But yeah, I mean, I think Seth's a big question. Where do we go with Seth? Since we know where Cody's going, so where do you think we go with Seth?
Seth versus Drew, or Seth versus Drew versus Sammy, because of that promo on Monday night or Friday night, I think it was. He said he wanted to win a world championship.
Well, if you look at Seth, Drew, and Sammy, we know that there was a lot of people, in a way, thought Sammy could pull it off last year in Montreal in the Elimination Chamber. And Sammy, if I'm not mistaken, hasn't got a shot yet back at that title. And then you've got Drew McIntyre, who I feel in a lot of ways was really an unsung hero because he was a champion during a time when there was no fans, no nothing. He was a COVID champion, which was one of the most difficult things to do. And
Right.
it's almost like his title run. You look back in history and it's almost like you want to forget about it. But he really did a lot in carrying the company through COVID. And he also defeated a guy we can't even talk about anymore in WWE. So, I think Drew, to get back, but I think the one thing I want to say on Drew is that if you believe, like you said, Mr. Allen, on dirt sheets, quote unquote, that Mr. McIntyre's contract is running out, I'm a little bit perplexed at how WWE would either want to put somebody that, if they haven't signed a contract, in a main event, or potentially give them a world title if they know that they may not re-sign with them.
Yeah, you don't want another Bret Hart situation.
I said the same thing the other day. I said,
true.
I mean, it's all up in the air. I don't know exactly. I mean, it's already been made official for Cody and Roman by Triple H on X. So I don't know where they go from there.
Right.
Would you think? You think Cody and Seth and Rock get face to face there?
Yeah, a lot of cussing.
Could that be
possible? Cussing, dude.
Could that be possible? I mean,
it's WWE. Of course, it could be possible, and we know Rock's in charge now, technically. So of course, it could be possible. I mean,
Yeah, because Rock is over the whole TKO thing, right? Yeah.
Yep. But I think the thing also is with The Rock, though, real quick, and I know a lot of people want to talk to you guys. We'll come back to people, but what I find fascinating about The Rock, kind of going off Mr. Titan, what you had to say about the tag team situation is, if you go back in the last 12 years, The Rock has wrestled, get this, for a total of 8 seconds. So what can he possibly be like in the ring, though, for him to have a match, even if it was going to be him and Roman, or if it's going to be even, let's say we'll go along with it with Seth, wouldn't a tag team match be better? Because that almost in a way has to hide the ring rust he's never going to be able to take off. I mean, he's in phenomenal shape, but you can't fake not taking those bumps. You can't fake not being in ring shape. He's not in ring shape. He's had really not a match in 12 years. So, wouldn't a tag team match be best to kind of mask what he probably doesn't have left in the ring?
I believe it could. What I was going to say is I think it could be where the ending of Mania is. Have The Rock. I know they see eye to eye right now, it seems like, but he could cost Roman the match. And then that sets up for next year. And it gives him time.
Could.
But
you could.
That's very possible too, yeah.
But the question also, though, I'll say this, as we're here with TBW owner and founder, Mr. Josh Allen. He is also in our Sportswire Radio Hall of Fame, and the man that is recognized on all Sportswire Radio platforms is our hardcore king, Mr. Atomic Titan, the only TBW Grand Slam winner in our history. And my name is the Reverend Tom Brushley. You're probably sick of seeing my name at this point. But, I'll say this, though, about The Rock. You were bringing up The Rock, though, is that at the end of the day, if you're going to have the match with Roman, shouldn't you have it now? Because if you wait another year, The Rock is 51 years old. I mean, how much longer can you wait to have a match with somebody that, again, he still hasn't been out there in the ring? You can't fake or change that.
Yeah, I agree. Maybe they do Rock and Roman like on night one or night. Still have Cody and Roman though, but
it's 30 years to the day of WrestleMania 10 when you had Bret Hart and Yokozuna, and then Lex Luger and Yokozuna. So
they won the Rumble the same year, Lex and Bret. Yeah,
the quote unquote both co-Royal Rumble winners, when clearly Lex Luger his feet touched first. But hey, that's WWE for you. That's WWE.
I mean, they tried to do the same thing with Batista and Cena at the one Rumble, but Batista won it.
Well, that other guy who we can't mention anymore came out and then famously tore his quad, and he's got a lot more problems than tearing his quad these days. He's got a lot more.
Oh yeah, that guy. Yeah.
It's funny. I've been on like 4 podcasts other than my own. I think the same things come up, but I have a lot of comments here. People want to say hello to you guys. Let me get to them here. Let's see here. Mr. Costin would like to fly to Tennessee. Well, you can message these guys They're on Instagram. They're on Facebook. They're on TikTok at Tennessee Backyard Wrestling. YouTube at TBW 2017. So if you want to come to Tennessee, message these guys. Maybe we can make that happen. I don't agree fully with this, though. This is one of our Hall of Famers, our newest one here, Mr. Darkron. Good evening, Mr. Allen and Atomic Turd. I don't agree with that. He's our Hollywood Atomic Titan, now a hardcore king. But we are acknowledging here, we respect our hardcore king. And I want to say, by the way, there have been people that have come on the platform of late, maybe even those from a different state who've tried to say, well, this, that. I still said throughout that show and also throughout the comments, we're always welcome people on platforms, but we also respect and acknowledge our hardcore king and respect and acknowledge TBW on Sportswire Radio. Just want to make sure that's continuing to put out there on Sportswire. It was iconic. Yes, the press conference was definitely iconic, but he actually jokes, though. How are you guys doing? So he was actually joking.
I'm doing good.
No, Darkron's a great guy. Darkron's one of my favorites here. Darkron's a good dude. Cody will finish his story, and The Rock almost cheated Cody out of his opportunity. But can you blame Cody, though? Because Cody basically started this last week. Can't you say this is all on Cody?
Yeah, I believe so. But I believe this was all in the works. I believe it was to get more attention on the product.
Oh, for sure. Listen, you don't think that they thought about this weeks in advance? They didn't think about yesterday, hey, let's flip a coin or let's, drop something in a bucket.
Yeah.
Okay, we're going to no. They knew this weeks in advance. They knew it weeks in advance.
Yeah, Triple H, he's a genius, I believe.
Oh, absolutely.
Look at all what he just did at the press conference. Look what all that caused. Most people tune in to watch.
You know what's funny? How about this, right? Obviously, I know you guys are obviously two of the most brilliant minds in this sport, two of the most successful minds. And in fact, ladies and gentlemen, these guys are so successful, they've even been mentioned on Barstool. That's right. Look it up. Go on the Tennessee Backyard Wrestling Instagram page. You'll find it on their stories. These guys have been mentioned on Barstool, and their TikTok page has gotten 6 figures in views on posts. But leave that aside for a second. You think about a press conference. I could never remember a time, maybe Tyson and Austin, but it wasn't what we had today. There is nothing I could remember in my life in wrestling where nothing happened, where everything happened. Think about it. This was unbelievable.
I mean, it's like you're gonna watch a boxing match or a UFC fight or something like that. I mean, it was that ending was. It was good. It was good because it was good for the product. It got people's eyes on the match itself, and it's got people on the eyes of The Rock. Is he exciting? Because clearly, he's on the Rock's Roman side for now. But how long is that train gonna roll? You know what I mean? Is it? Who knows?
Well, I have a follow up to that before I get to Mr. Titan. Is if you're gonna go that route. If you wanted to do the match with Rock and Roman, we know SummerSlam has become arguably WWE's number 2 show. You could do that
for sure.
Yeah, you're right. You could.
I mean, but we got a lot more people that want a fantasy book with you guys. I loved how Cody handled the whole thing, and I was loving Seth hopping around, getting in Roman and Rock's face.
Yeah.
All right, we'll see that. I got more comments. I can see the bloodline turning on Roman.
Oh, yeah, that'll be the end of it.
Well, you have to get to a point to end the storyline, right? I mean,
yeah, it's been going on a long time, which, I mean, it's good long-term booking. And it makes, whoever's going to beat Roman, obviously it'll probably be Cody. It's going to make him more of a star than,
Well, let me ask you this question. And I was on a podcast and somebody asked me this question. I'm going to ask you guys this question because obviously you guys are a part of, some of the most successful things we've seen in this sport. The numbers show it. But if Cody doesn't finish this story for whatever reason, and I still think Roman's been champion for as long as he has, he could still walk away from this. In your eyes, the way Cody has been built, Cody's won back-to-back Rumbles. I think he's only been pinned once since he's come back outside of the loss with Roman. I mean, Cody, for all intents and purposes, has been built like the modern-day Hulk Hogan. He's doing Make-A-Wishes. He's kissing babies. He's dressing the part. And, he's basically, for all intents and purposes, Mr. WWE. Live events, ratings. Cody's the man right now. If Cody doesn't finish this story, is he A, a failure, and B, would you compare him, since we're going to eventually talk Super Bowl, would he almost be like the modern day version of the Buffalo Bills? The Buffalo Bills, if you watch the ESPN 30 for 30, got to 4 straight Super Bowls in the 1990s, got there like Cody. Cody's won the Rumbles, winning the Rumbles like going to the Super Bowl, right?
Mhm.
Cody doesn't win here at Mania, he's kind of a failure. Does he become almost like the Buffalo Bills of the 90s for whatever reason he doesn't win in Philadelphia at WrestleMania 40? What do you guys think on all that?
I believe it'll seem like that. It will be like that. It'll be disappointing, honestly, if he don't. That's all I can say.
I think it would be very disappointing too. In my opinion, because I mean, you have the guy won the 2023 Royal Rumble, and then turned around and won this year's Royal Rumble, and he goes WrestleMania 4. Go ahead.
I was gonna say, like, last time I think it was like someone won 2 Rumbles back to back. Didn't they like lose the first Rumble? I mean, the first WrestleMania main event that they had, and then go back and win the Rumble again, and then win the title. Didn't Austin do that?
Well, Austin won the Rumble back to back.
Michaels, yep.
Michaels won it, but lost to Diesel at WrestleMania.
Yeah.
Hogan won back to back, right? So, am I missing somebody else that won back to back? Did Cena win back to back?
No, he hasn't.
No, he only won one. That was back in 08, I believe.
Cody's been the only first one since Austin. But also, I wanted to make a comparison.
Go ahead, jump in.
Shawn Michaels back then, when Austin was going up against him at WrestleMania, he's kind of like Roman Reigns nowadays. He looks untouchable. That's a good
great point. Yeah, because Shawn Michaels at that time,
it was like nobody could beat him.
The Austin comparison comes in, right? Because Austin had won the Rumble in '97, but he didn't even get a title shot. He wound up wrestling Brett in an I Quit match, which he never obviously quit in. And then the next year he won the Rumble, and he was facing Shawn Michaels, and Shawn Michaels with D-Generation X, and he had obviously had the match with Bret Hart and The Undertaker, and Shawn Michaels was the measuring stick in the WWF at the time, and Cody in a way is kind of in Austin's shoes. That's why I think that it's even magnified more than what Austin was, because Cody's been even more of a face to me right now than Austin is. That's why I feel like if Cody, for whatever reason, doesn't win this, judging by the reactions on social media, I feel like Cody will never be a world champion, and he'll never be what he is. So to me, it's almost like he's a failure if he doesn't win in WrestleMania 40. I got to be honest.
Yeah, I heard that, and someone compared him to Lex Luger.
I think yours truly said that on a podcast today. I said it Monday on a show with 2 guys that used to work for your company, but now going independent. So I have said that on a few other places. So yes, that's also been thrown out there, because Lex Luger, in fact, also Jeff Jarrett had mentioned Lex Luger on his podcast yesterday, My World, another Tennessee person, although he's from Tennessee.
Oh, yeah, the whole Lex Express show.
Yes, he said they were talking about the fact that Lex had won by countout in SummerSlam '93, the goofy countout. He came back, won the Rumble, quote unquote, as a co-winner, but then at Mania 10 didn't win his match, and after that, he was done, really, for all intents and purposes.
And that was when they were trying to replace him with Hogan.
Correct. But they were 2 different people. Lex Luger's like the complete opposite of Hulk Hogan. That's that's like taking Bret Hart and Stone Cold Steve Austin and trying to basically copy each other off, and it doesn't work that way. But I have a lot of people that want to say hello to you guys. A lot of people do. Yeah, totally see the tag match at the Chamber. Yeah, I think the Chamber would also be a good way if you're going to put The Rock in another match. It allows him to get that ring rust off, because again, he's wrestled 8 seconds in 12 years. Let me repeat, 8 seconds in 12 years. So I actually would tell you Logan Paul is actually at this point a far better wrestler and has wrestled more matches than The Rock has. We can go, listen, I mean, there's plenty of people you could think of that have actually had, listen, Shaquille O'Neal has actually wrestled technically more seconds in the last 12 years than The Rock has. I'm serious. We can go up and down the list of people that have actually wrestled more than The Rock has in the last 12 years. If you're going to get him, and also, by the way, another point to be made to you, Mr. Dark Crown, our Hall of Famer, is that You have a show in Australia. What is WWE trying to do now for PLEs, premium live events? They're trying to be a global brand. Now, we know TBW is a global brand because people have told me that they watch in Britain, in the UK, but, WWE is trying to follow in TBW's footsteps, and they're trying to have shows that are sold all throughout the world. And what great way to do that in Australia, in addition to having Rhea Ripley on the card, you could have The Rock and Roman, the Bloodline, the Inoue family against Cody Rhodes and Seth freaking Rollins. Think about all that there, that star power. I mean, I think that's a wonderful idea. And Mr. Titan, he knows the thing to do around him. Hi, Mason O'Malley. I don't know. Do I know Mason O'Malley? Do I know? But I want to say hi to you, Mason. If you want to stay with us, we're on Sportswire Radio on YouTube at Sportswire Radio 6579. We're also on Twitch, so check us out on Twitch. And Mason, thank you for tuning in, and tell me what's on your mind, because I have a lot of people that want to here. Let's see here. Okay, I got a lot of people here. I wanted Seth versus Drew and Cody and Roman. Okay, we might get Seth and Drew still, right?
That might happen.
Okay. Also, what do you guys think about Damian Priest?
I think he'll end up failing the cash in. I believe so.
Who does he cash in on, though?
It'll be Seth, because I believe the storyline that went on a few months ago with when he was in it, they were always targeting the world title. But I mean, they could pull a swerve. But I see him failing the cash in when it does happen. And you recently see like him and R-Truth and all that. I can see R-Truth not allowing him to cash in or something.
Yeah.
I don't know. It'll just be a big.
You know what this reminds me of when you said it? It reminded me. You remember when Wade Barrett used to come out and say, "I'm afraid I have bad news." It's like the same thing with R-Truth and Judgment.
But I mean, also I can see him like successfully cashing in on possibly Drew if he like wins the world title.
Well, Drew, if you're again believing in the contract situation.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, people on the internet say many things, right? The internet is an interesting place. So, I have so many people that want to talk to you. I'm going to try to read off comments. I see Sami Zayn versus Damian Priest being a world title feud possibly this summer. Yeah, I think somebody mentioned, I think one of you guys mentioned Sami Zayn for the world title, and he hasn't got a shot since the Chamber in Montreal last year. It's not that I don't think The Rock's been trying to get into ring shape. He's in phenomenal shape, but I think the issue is that he still hasn't had a true match since Cena at Mania 28. You can't fake, and you know this, Nicholas Crenton, you can't fake going out there and not having a televised match. Mm-hmm. I don't doubt that the Rock is he's in better shape now than he was in his prime. But you still can't look at CM Punk, right? CM Punk is not in this WrestleMania equation, and because he went out there and had his first true match in ages, and he got hurt in the Rumble. So he could be in great shape, but it's not going to take away that you don't have the ring, the ring rust. You still have it. Also, and elimination.
He looked winded a couple weeks ago when he was doing the People's Elbow. The Rock did.
Because exactly, he has not. You can't fake.
Yeah, even the promo that he cut when he got done beating the crap out of Jinder Mahal, he was breathy. Like it's like man.
Yeah. I don't. Well, you know what that says for us, gentlemen? That says that if he would have come on Sportswire and talk with us and have a conversation, he'd be winded the first 5 minutes. I mean, you guys are used to doing this. I do 5-hour shows sometimes. I mean, you're the one, by the way. I've quoted you a few times, Mr. Allen, because you were the one that said, "Well, would you ever consider doing a 24-hour stream or something?" And like people have actually messaged that to me on the air. I'm like, well. Do people want me to die on the air? But obviously, they're around here. But at Elimination Chamber, I see Rock versus Roman. I don't know. I don't.
No.
Also, does WWE want Roman to go past Hogan's first run? Yeah, I mean, I think it's close. I think we're a couple of months away from that, if I'm not mistaken.
It's after SummerSlam, I believe.
It's about 5.5 months from now, something like that.
I don't see it happening.
A guy you guys know him very well. Remember, you ever heard of him? Name ring a bell?
James Taylor.
The nemesis James Taylor. The nemesis James Taylor is still a free agent out there. You know, there's even people talking about him. Who knows? Maybe back in TVW, maybe in Alabama, maybe even the Independents. But for now, he'll answer that Sunday night when he gets inducted into the Hall of Fame. But in the meantime, he says, hello, people. So, hello,
Hey,
James Taylor.
If he knows what's right, he can come for me. You hear that, James?
He had a big promo on Instagram, and he was going back and forth with CJ Black. I don't know what happened there. It transpired, but it seems like James Taylor, he's getting it from everywhere. He's getting it. I mean, everybody's talking about James Taylor, and that's why James Taylor is here. But in the meantime, we're here with Hollywood Titan and Mr. Josh Allen, the TBW owner. I'm going to have a TBW announcement for you guys. I have something to give you guys, and I'm afraid you're going to like it soon. So many monarchs, so little time. He wants to challenge you. So basically,
Okay.
Mr. Kron from Ohio wants to challenge you.
You know where I'm at.
Jules says that she will always respect and acknowledge the hardcore king. So you know what? I mean,
give me a barf
Thank
bag.
you.
maybe
Oh,
you want to give digits to Jules. Maybe you want to exchange numbers. Who knows? But, I have a feeling you may not be able to do that. But,
I don't know.
yeah, well, never say never with Vince. Well, that one guy that used to be named Vince used to say that.
oh, yeah, that guy.
Can't say his name anymore. Well, if I read what was accurate yesterday, I will be shocked if he's not in a jail cell soon. Let me just put it that way.
Yeah.
Mr. Taylor though says, "I wish I could respect the hardcore chump, little
I
Titan."
thought he did. Didn't a few weeks ago he said he respected me. Wasn't that right? When I was last time I was on here.
Well, he's here
Come
Sunday.
on.
I'm gonna. Well, I tell you what, I'm gonna ask him Sunday, right? And we'll come back to WWE stuff. I am gonna ask him Sunday if he would like to return to TBW. Because we talked about this company in Alabama. There seems to be some people want him to go there.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody else there that runs the company who seems to have issues with other people doesn't seem like he wants to have him go there. Then you've got obviously some people that used to work in your company said, go to the independents. Then you've got some people that obviously say, well, go to Ohio. And then there's always a company he used to work for. So, I mean, there's a lot of places he could go, and he'll address all of it right after the big game.
But I will say this. If he knows what's right for him, come to TBW and face your hardcore king and bow down, James. Respect me. That's
There's a
what
lot of
you need
unfinished.
to
You know
do.
what? Speaking about finishing the story, unfinished business. I mean, I would love to see James Taylor back home in TBW. I mean, because I think in that state in Alabama, I don't know if they're going to really realize the star power that James Taylor has. And James Taylor coming back to TBW, I think he would obviously be very welcomed. And a lot of people would love to see that. I mean, he's going to address these plans right after the big game. I mean,
I'll be waiting on him.
Mallory's laughing. I got here the only Zack Attack, the one and only Zack Attack doesn't acknowledge the hardcore king. Okay, well, Zach, you're gonna get your chance. I'm gonna give you the chance next week. I promise you that. No champion in the main event of 10s, 20. So no 10, 20, and 30. Oh, interesting point. So WrestleMania 10, Yoko didn't. 20 was both champions, right? It was Kurt Angle and Triple H. Right?
Triple H. Yep.
Wasn't it Shawn and Triple or
Benoit? Well, we can't say that guy's name.
Oh, yeah, no.
By the way, I should admit this. This is a really sick point. So if people want to cancel me on Sportswire, so I'm going to give you ammunition. I still actually have still in my closet. I still have a shirt of that guy that we can't say anymore. I still have his shirt.
Yeah, WrestleMania 10. That's when Yoko lost it to Brett again. 20. That's when that guy won it. And 30 is when Brian won it. Yeah.
I was going to say, yes, correct. Well, thank you for at least
or Danielson.
And that was my favorite moment.
That was a great moment.
I was a big fan of him then.
I wanted him to win.
I love the comment, the Miracle Kid. Like, seriously, that was a pretty cool comment.
You can ask Josh. He was.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't really watch him much in AEW anymore, but
think about Bryan Danielson, Kofi Kingston. They were put in difficult challenges that the fans were rooting for them, and they won at WrestleMania. Will the third time be the charm? It's a good point.
Yeah, I believe so.
Nicholas Crenson says, "I wish I could hop on here to talk. I would go over so much of wrestling history." Yeah, no, you know what? Hang on. Let's get to some comments.
Bring you on.
I'll bring you on. Hang on. Let me get some more comments here. Sammy versus Drew versus Seth. Okay, we'll see. No one talks about. Well, I have talked about you. I'm bringing you on Sportswire soon. I am just learning about you. I promise you will. But right now, you've got a hardcore king that we have to acknowledge and a TBW Hall of Famer. But, I did mention it before. I actually, a little while ago, since he doesn't know now he'll know. He's going to be in your gentleman's chair next Thursday. He's here. It calls you Atomic No One, though.
Whoa.
And the man that's not fair, though. The West Memphis kid, Ronnie Brady. I am so looking forward, by the way, to Ronnie Brady here next Thursday. I am so excited about that. But so why are you calling Atomic Titan Atomic No One? You don't want to acknowledge our hardcore king?
I guess he's upset or something. Maybe because he lost his title lately.
Well, I said it on Sportswire. If I were Mr. Brady, that I wouldn't even bother squaring off with Mr. Prince, and that's not happening now. So I'm going to have to ask Mr. Brady what's going to happen with him. So that's a good.
I mean, if he wants to come at me, he knows where I'm at. Or I could show up, maybe next month, the Resurrection.
We have a big show coming up in the ball. I mean, I think the March show is going to be just as big as the show next Saturday.
St. Patrick's Day.
I mean, both are going to be at the Growlers venue downtown Memphis, which would be great.
So apparently, Mr. Taylor's got a bunch of comments. Let's read them off here. I'm sorry I lied about that type. Didn't mean to get your hopes up. I never respected you, Butt Munch. I never respected a wannabe hardcore champ. But I mean, Jimmy Controversy, though. But Jimmy Controversy doesn't want you. Jimmy Controversy wants nothing to do with you. I promise you, he doesn't. Jimmy Controversy wants nothing to do with you.
None of them did.
He invented hardcore, pal. Though I mean, he did.
Okay, you might have invented it, but that was like 1998. This is 2024. This is my game now.
You were going to say that.
Out of it.
I knew you were going to say that. Zach Attack, you need to make yourself known and make people believe in you. Earn their respect. We're going to give you that chance. I promise you. I don't think people realize that there is a lot of people that want to come on Sportswire. I promise you that's the case here. I don't know if James Taylor did invent hardcore, because I will remind people of this. And by the way, Taylor's going to get his due on Sunday. Have we not forgot about a guy named Terry Funk? God rest his soul.
Terry Funk, yeah. A hardcore legend.
Terry Funk.
There's a lot.
Mick Foley. I mean, there's a guy, Madman Pondo, out there, if you're a fan of the GTS stuff and things like that. But I'm coming for you, Atomic Titan, in your title. We'll have to see. Thank you, Jules. We'll see. Recognize real. Terry Funk. Yeah, I don't need it. Yes, definitely. I agree with you on that. Okay, so there's Mr. Allen. Okay, Mr. Allen. Are you alive, Mr. Allen? There you go. Okay, so we spoke about the press conference. We spoke a lot about that. I'll bring Mr. Crenson on for a few minutes in a little bit to get to something. But I do want to ask, before I present you guys something, I have to ask you kind of the burning questions. James Taylor is going to be on here Sunday after the big game, but I actually have to ask you guys, who do you think is going to win the big game this Sunday?
I'm going for the 49ers, obviously, but I'm not really a big Chiefs guy. I don't really want to buy into the whole Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce.
Now that's what I'm talking about. That's why we acknowledge you on Sportswire, because I've been saying the same exact thing. I am sick and tired of it. I'm done with it.
This money thing.
I don't want to see her with the Super Bowl trophy. If they win, she's getting the trophy. That they're going to make sure they're going to bring her right up to it's not going to be Mahomes. It's not going to be even Mr. Hunt. It's not going to be Mr. Reed and Spagnuolo. It's going to be, she's going to be the first person to touch the trophy. You just watch.
But this is what I think. They don't need to underestimate Brock Purdy or Christian McCaffrey or the whole 49ers team. They're different from the last Super Bowl they played in against them. They had Garoppolo then.
Jimmy G, yeah.
Jimmy G, yeah. And it's a whole different team. I think that the 49ers will end up winning it. It'll be unexpected.
Well, Purdy's a better quarterback than Jimmy G. I mean, Jimmy G, let's be honest. I mean, he's probably going to go all time down as one of the worst quarterbacks to have played in the Super Bowl. In fact, he was so bad of a quarterback this year that the Raiders of all teams benched him. So what does that tell you?
And, I think Brock Purdy, he reminds me a lot of Brady. Like he was like one of the last draft picks.
Yeah. 7th
Comes in
round.
like backup quarterback. Okay, I know you're like a Steelers guy or something probably. But
Hey,
Watch it.
What's wrong with the Steelers?
I mean, we could talk
Yeah,
about other football teams.
I
but-
actually kind of root for the Steelers, believe it or not. And what's wrong with the Steelers? I mean,
they're
they've
probably-
actually,
I knew two great minds think alike. I knew it.
you know what? Not for nothing. The Steelers, I'm pretty sure, have had 20 consecutive winning seasons, and they're the only team I think since then that hasn't had a losing season. What's wrong with the Steelers? And they made the playoffs with a quarterback that even might have been worse than Jimmy G. I mean, two of them, even Kenny Pickett. I mean, can we get a redo on Kenny Pickett, by the way, for the football fans? I mean, what a bad draft pick, Kenny Pickett. You know, in New York, they kill Zach Wilson, but Kenny Pickett might actually go down to be worse than Zach Wilson. He's that bad of a quarterback. And yet the Steelers still made the playoffs. And on top of that, Watt was hurt toward the end of the season into the playoff game.
I mean, you're in New York, so you think like the Jets will be good next year?
Do I think the Jets will be good? To be honest with you, no. I think the Jets.
Aaron Rodgers.
I think the Jets are like almost. I think if you're asking me, and I'll bring Nicholas Crenson, and I want to give you guys something also.
Yeah.
But I will say this: I don't think that the Jets will be good anytime soon. If you think about the Jets, they still haven't been to. No, I know the Lions haven't been there, but the Jets have been bad like almost my entire life, except for a couple of years. I mean,
At least you have the Giants. I mean, they at least won a few Super Bowls.
Giants. Okay, the Giants when they get there, at least they don't have a lot of good winning years, but when they win, they at least make it count. Like last year, win a playoff game. They had the 2 Super Bowls. You know, they won in 2000. I remember they got to the Super Bowl. They don't win often, but when they win, they make it count. So in a way, people look at it. Well, at least I have that. Unlike teams like Buffalo Bills, who we mentioned, who had 4 Super Bowls and lost all 4 of them in a row. You know,
or like Tennessee.
Yeah,
Titans.
Tennessee. Who got rid of
Again, watch it.
1 yard short. 1 yard
Or how
short.
about the 49ers? By the way, 49ers have actually, yes, they've won 5, but they've been to 19 championship games and they've lost 10 of them. I mean,
They
and
lost 2012, 2019.
Yep, they lost 2 Super Bowls, and they've lost 10 NFC championship games. So I would rather be the team that when they go there, they win the Super Bowl, rather than the team that always consistently gets there and loses. So, but what do you think, though, Mr. Allen?
I mean, I don't really, since my boys ain't in this year, there's always next year, but with this one, I'm going to go with the 49ers as well because this whole Swifty thing, I don't know.
God, I'm so tired of it.
I don't know. Is it a money? Is it a money thing? Is it a? I mean, for God's sake.
You heard the commissioner. They asked him about it Monday. I don't know if you heard his press conference, and he said, "Well, we're trying to grow the game, and it adds something to people, and we want to continue to further use it, but she's not on the field. She's actually not a part of the field. She's just a girlfriend. I don't understand. She's not doing anything in terms of playing.
You're right.
I don't know. But yeah, I'm rooting for the 49ers, but I actually think the 49ers
yeah.
And by the way, which nobody talks about, if you're a betting, I'm not going to encourage betting on Sportswire, but if I were to bet, the 49ers are actually the favorites here. The 49ers are the favorites. And the Chiefs have not been the same Chiefs team that's gotten here in the past. So I'm just saying.
Definitely.
Let me get to some more comments here. No, I would say that I'm a part of the Swift Boat group, like the Swift Boat Veterans group. I'm a part of the Swift Boat Swifties group. I want to say hello to C2K's mother. I am proud of my son and happy that he is in the Hall of Fame. I want to thank you. I'll give you a pass on spelling my name wrong, but yes, I thank you for that. I look forward to you tuning in tomorrow night, 10 o'clock Eastern time, right after SmackDown. We'll induct C2K into our Hall of Fame, and thank you. And while you're at it, hit that sub button on Sportswire Radio 6579. I mean, well, listen, the reason I would say I would root for the Jets, although my theory is this, the Jets and Giants actually I don't know if you gentlemen know this or not, the Jets and Giants physically actually don't play in the state of New York. So technically, the only team in New York is the Bills. But in New York City, people in New York City don't know geography, so they just assume the Bills are like in Canada because they don't really know like Buffalo. But
isn't it like across the river in New Jersey, the stadium?
Yes, yeah, exactly. You just made my point. The Jets and Giants, as far as I can remember, have never played in the state of New York. I mean, the Jets played last in the city maybe in the early 80s. The Giants moved out like 50 years ago, but the only team in New York is the Bills. But people like in New York City, specifically the five boroughs of New York City, they don't really consider the Bills to be a New York team because it's New York City. But yeah, the Giants and Jets don't really play. So I kind of go root for both, but I don't really consider them New York teams. But the Bills, I kind of are indifferent with. Look forward to the induction. Yes, and we do look forward to it. We're on Sportswire Radio. Before I get to an announcement or two, by the way, that's a good question. Have they ever talked about building a stadium in New York City itself? Yes, actually, they did. It was called the West Side Stadium, which is if you know where Times Square was, further down on the west side of Manhattan. At the time, there was the mayor, Michael Bloomberg, who quote unquote ran for president. Not to bore people, he wanted to build a football stadium and also bring the Olympics to New York City. But at the time, the state legislature, where was the speaker of the New York State Assembly, he killed the project because a developer who was a supporter of his did not want the project because he was trying to build something else. And he was also, the state assembly speaker at the time, was also an ally of Madison Square Garden, which would have been in competition with this. And ironically enough, the speaker of the state assembly went to jail. So that just tells you that the project should have happened, but that's politics for you. But Jules answered it. But if you're on Sportswire Radio, I'm not going to talk about 2004's West Side Stadium. We're here talking a number of different things with the TBW owner and founder in our Sportswire Radio Hall of Fame. His name is Mr. Josh Allen, who was inducted into the Hall of Fame right before Christmas Day. So December 24th, he was in, and a man that is our hardcore king of Sportswire Radio. He is the Atomic Titan. My name is the Reverend Tom Bryce. I'm going to be back here a couple of times tomorrow. I'm going to be here 3 o'clock Eastern Time, 8 o'clock British Standard Time to induct none other than the gentleman thug Ronnie Thatcher, the former Cutlery Championship Wrestling World Heavyweight Champion, into our Hall of Fame. I'm going to be back here 10 o'clock with Mr. C2K. I'm going to induct him in the Hall of Fame. I'm going to be back here for the big game right afterwards with James Taylor, who's promising who knows what he's going to say. James Taylor in a microphone is going to be, I'm sure, a lot of people are going to want to hear what he has to say. I'm also here Saturday afternoon with the EBW Pro World Champion, the infamous Montana, to induct him in the Hall of Fame, 4 o'clock Eastern Time. So some great shows. We'll see how my voice holds up. But if you're here for the first time, you want to check us out like Mrs. Rios, you can do that here on an internet radio station. We have 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year on sportswireradio.org. We're also on YouTube. So give a sub, give us a follow at YouTube, Sportswire Radio 6579. And also, we have a blog, Twitter at Sportswire Radio, Tumblr at Sportswire Radio. And we're talking all things related here to a number of different things with Atomic Titan, our hardcore king, our TBW hardcore champion, our only Grand Slam winner in TBW history, and Mr. Josh Allen. This is a great segue before I bring Mr. Crenton, and we'll talk a few other things in the world of wrestling, and then we'll say sayonara. But, I want to do something special for you guys. It wasn't planned. I didn't tell you guys. You have no idea what I'm going to give to you, but I want to give something to you. Actually, it's a great day. February 8th. It's, a Thursday, and, obviously we announced all these people, but you're here. And I wanted to obviously recognize you. You guys were on Barstool recently, and hundreds of thousands of people are still talking about that. You got, I think, 300 or 400 subscribers alone on YouTube since the Barstool announcement. Everybody's getting ready for season 8 to start. Everybody's still talking about season finale 7. I wanted to do something for you guys, a little special, because again, we have a hashtag, All Wrestling Matters, and I wanted to show our love of Tennessee Backyard Wrestling, TBW, especially as the host of the Sports Report, the owner of Sportswire Radio, where all wrestling matters here, the Reverend Tom Bryce. Gentlemen, I wanted to present to you that on this day, February the 8th, 2024, on all Sportswire Radio platforms, that it's TBW Day. So whether it's on Twitch at Sportswire Radio, Tumblr at Sportswire Radio, Twitter at Thomas Bryce 2017, YouTube at Sportswire Radio 6579, Facebook at Sportswire Radio, Instagram at the Sports Report 2021, and on sportswireradio.org. Gentlemen, it is your day. congratulations. I know that we'll have a bigger day and a bigger ceremony next month, right before the season, to actually formally induct Tennessee Backyard Wrestling. But as a nice little entree and appetizer, this is a special day for you guys. Congratulations.
Man, thank you. That means the world to me.
Well, thank you, man.
especially.
That's appreciate it, man. That's definitely amazing, man. We really appreciate that.
TBW
Definitely,
Day.
100%.
TBW Day.
awesome.
Yep. The Barstool guys didn't quite give you that. I know they were certainly, having a little bit of fun. They were certainly having their own twist on things, but we like to certainly recognize everybody here on Sportswire. So it's absolutely here for you guys, TBW Day. So, congratulations. And obviously I'm looking forward to maybe a formal induction, a formal ceremony, maybe next month, certainly Mr. Titan, certainly, give you some further honors as well, coming up very soon. But I obviously wanted to do something a little special. It was, wasn't planned, wasn't announced. Obviously, we'll send you over the certificate. You can formally have it after we're off the air. But wanted to have you have this as a little token of appreciation, and that's
Thank
what I
you.
want.
That's awesome.
Thank you, Tom.
Anything else you guys might want to share before I let Mr. Crenson come on and we'll talk WWE and anything else for a few minutes? Anything else you guys want to share? Or you guys want to talk about outside of the world of a company that we love dearly here, Tennessee Backyard Wrestling? And also I want people to actually follow you guys because I actually have something else I want to announce on behalf of you guys. You have a Red Bubble shop. And after we're off the air, I'm actually going to do something for you guys in addition to the certificate because I'm going to buy some merchandise from you guys for the first time.
Awesome.
So I want to make sure that we support
that
you. Get
TBW shirt.
TBW swag. I want to make sure when I'm on the air because we have XCW gear, we have WWE gear, we have DBW gear, we have Skulls gear. Even I've got gear for my guys in the LWF, Kingdom of Wrestling, the Kingdom of Wrestling. We've got wrestling all over the place gear from. But
That'd
now
be
we wanted
awesome.
to make sure we have some TBW gear. So when I'm on the air on Sportswire, we can officially have TBW merchandise to wear. And Sean Jovi's merchandise suit is on the way. Yep. So
I can almost guarantee you're gonna get a Gage Flash shirt. I can guarantee it. I can guarantee it. I said it. I stand by it. All right.
He might buy your shirt. I don't.
You never know.
I don't think.
Well, I was debating the Nature Boy shirt, Mr. Woo, man.
Yeah.
I was kind of thinking actually to go the TBW shirt itself to kind of
the TBW shirt. Yeah.
I was thinking to go neutral, so I don't say, okay, I've got Titan here. I'm gonna, I gotta wear his shirt. I've got Gage. I mean, if I go the TBW shirt, that classic logo. I mean,
that represents everybody. So there you go.
That's why, listen, you can't go wrong with that.
I actually need to buy that shirt, the TBW shirt. Josh has the hat.
Yeah.
I do like
you
the
get
hat.
This, you get there's this hat. There's two different types. This is the traditional baseball cap. Then there's another kind of hat. There's different kind of things. There's pillows, blankets, mugs, containers, shirts, hoodies, phone cases, you name it, we got it. So on Redbubble. So
now, do we know anybody that would have pillows? I think that would actually be good. Maybe we can get maybe Jules would want to get some TBW pillows. I'm only kidding.
I believe someone actually there's shower curtains on there. I believe someone that one time sent me a picture of shower curtains.
I gotta be honest. I love TBW. I don't think I'm gonna buy TBW shower curtains. I can promise you that I'm not gonna buy. I think a T-shirt will do good. I think a T-shirt okay, guys. If I just buy a T-shirt,
T-shirt.
Yeah.
I think that'll be okay.
Yeah.
T-shirt will be just good enough for me. I want to congratulate my other kids, Josh and Titan. Thank you, Mrs. C2K. I appreciate that you have tuned in for us, and I thank you for your son. And we're going to give him a nice little speech, nice little few minutes. And I thank you for tuning in for sure. And let me actually ask you guys something on WWE before we let Mr. Crenson come on here if he wants to come on. We sent him the link, but what do you guys think about this whole deal here with Endeavor and Netflix and everything else that's come on here, and then? Maybe as a follow-up, what do you guys think what happens with AEW in their contract?
I believe it's a good deal. I really do. I believe it'll reach more audience for WWE. But I don't know how their live streaming is going to go because I've seen it kind of fell in the past, but then they recently started doing it for some other shows on there. But it's a good deal for Netflix because it'll bring in people to buy the subscription.
Right,
And
right,
then
right.
I seen something
Um,
about TNT maybe making a merger with some kind of
Well, the new
Was that-
deal is, and we'll say hello to another Hall of Famer about was Mr. Nicholas Crenson in a second. But I think the deal right now was announced was ESPN, right?
Yeah,
Warner,
that.
ESPN. We're gonna have a merger, right? I think with their streaming.
Did you say AEW go to that?
No,
possibly?
AEW apparently is excluded out of the deal. That's why I was
Mm.
fascinated to know,
Hmm.
you know, what do you think happens there? And how you doing, Nicholas Crenson? I'm
Pretty
definitely liking
good.
the beard. So, obviously good to be with you. I figured for a few minutes we'll obviously finish the show talking about some current events. And what do you think about the streaming deals? You're obviously WWE is going to Netflix. There still also is a period between October and January where does WWE go with Raw? But also the news here with ESPN, Warner, and they're obviously going to merge into some streaming agreement, but AEW is excluded out of that. What do you think on all that, Nicholas Crenson, the new Messiah?
So here's the thing. I actually work for a big, telecommunication company that does the pay-per-view cable stuff.
Oh, so you were involved in the deal, huh? So you're gonna come? That's
No,
why
no,
you're coming
no,
on live now. You're gonna tell us the deal.
no. But what I wanted to say is, even working there, all of us you can kind of see that the traditional cable model is dying out.
Yep.
That's why since they've done the network, I've been like, why are you wasting money anymore on network TV? Honestly, streaming is a way more valuable market right now,
And it's cheaper for people, I believe.
honestly. And also, no, actually, here's the other thing. Here's the thing with them going to Netflix compared to USA. With Netflix, they could actually broadcast the show in actual 4K, like
Oh, I didn't know that. I
HDR.
did not know that. That's interesting.
Because on normal cable, they have to do it at least 720 or 1080i. Because on normal cable through say a cable box or whatever, that can only go up to so far on the cable boxes. So
Let me ask you a question. You said you work, without revealing and going into any details, you work for a big telecompany, right? Is what you said correct?
Yeah.
I don't know what you know, and you could say plead the fifth, but did you see this coming that WWE was going to leave off cable TV and go to a streaming provider for months, if you don't mind me asking?
No. Honestly, no. The thing I'm wondering is what took so long.
What do you mean by that?
Like I said, it literally this would have been the move I would have made years ago. As soon as streaming got to the point that it's at right now, which was a couple years ago, like a few years ago, I would have been basically done all the shows live on Peacock.
Okay, all right. And let me ask you another follow-up question. I want to say hello to our buddy, the Southern Bulldozer, Shane Davidson, who's now in the SWF. How you doing, Shane? Hope to see you and hope you're doing well. But let me ask you a follow-up question. Now, we talked about the streaming deal that ESPN has with Warner, and AEW's out of that deal. Now, again, you said you work in a telecom company. So you kind of have an idea of how these things work. I don't. So I'm curious for the
very
audience.
little. Like I'm like a I'm customer service.
I was trying to hype you up a little bit. Work with me here.
I don't know.
But okay.
But
let me ask you this, since you obviously are very smart, very intelligent, more intelligent than you look in your promos, because you obviously want to kill us in the promos. But what do you think happens with AEW? Because AEW's contract runs out, I believe, also around October, right? Their contract runs out at the end of the year. So where does AEW go in all of this? What do you guys make of that? Especially you, Mr. Crenson, because you, again, work in telecom.
I honestly, I thought they re-signed another contract a while back.
No, their contract, I think it was a 1-year deal that ends at the end of the year. So their deal ends at the end of the year. So what do you think there?
I think the biggest negotiation that because from everything I've heard, like the last couple times, Warner does like having AEW on their TVs and on their
Okay.
Netflix.
But why are they not in the streaming deal? That's my question.
That's
Sports.
that's the thing. I think there is a plan to get them into streaming, but it's not through the ESPN deal, because what is on Max?
What is
now?
on Max? A lot of movies, a lot of
No. Okay, they added a recent tier to Max for Bleacher Report.
Right, yeah, that I knew. I know.
And AEW has a big deal with Bleacher Report.
Yes.
They do their pay-per-views right through them.
Yeah, and they're probably trying to work on some deal to have it where AEW's pay-per-views are included in the Max Live tier.
Where do you think this all ends up? Okay, let me ask you all a general question. I mean, obviously, we're talking about football, talking about the Super Bowl. We saw that Peacock had broadcasted a Chiefs and Dolphins game, and we know, at least in the Warner, Fox, Disney, that they're launching a joint venture. So you're talking about, obviously, Turner, you're talking Fox, you're talking NBC, you're talking about all those different, ABC is in there. So you're talking about different kind of providers, although technically NBC's not with Warner. So let's throw NBC out of the mix for a second. So it's basically NBC's out in the cold. You're talking about ABC, you're talking about ESPN, you're talking about TBS, TNT, and the Fox Sports conglomerates. When do you think this goes for sports streaming? So we've got, the MLB, you got the NFL here, you got the NHL, and you got the NBA. Does it matter any more than who goes for these sports contracts for these companies? I mean, what do you make of all where this is for sports going forward? If you have a thought or two on that.
I got actually one big thought here with it.
Okay.
So there's been rumors at my work, somebody jokes about it, that they eventually want to turn the Super Bowl into a pay-per-view. I don't
really.
I don't see that happening because of one key reason. That won't happen. Another thing might happen, but the reason why it will not happen is because of the advertisers.
Oh my God! Are you talking about, it's $141,500 for a 30-second spot? I think I read or something like that. 140.
And here's the thing: to a pay-per-view, but I could see the Super Bowl becoming exclusive to, say, 1 year Prime or Peacock or Paramount Plus, because there they can still run ads. And they could even have they could charge extra for people to not get that, don't want ads, but I don't know, Super Bowl ads are hilarious, so why wouldn't you want to watch them?
Well, I got a couple comments here. Let's read them off here. Shane Davidson, the Southern Bulldozer, says, I think it's stupid that they want to turn it into a pay-per-view. I would just rather keep updated with Google. Jules says NBC is not out in the cold. It is part of Peacock and can watch sports on it. But in terms of the Warner, Disney, Fox deal, I don't think Peacock's a part of that deal. That's the question. Right now, Peacock is with the NFL. Yes, I agree. But in terms of the deal that was with Variety.com had reported, I have Fox, Warner, and Discovery. So that's what I have here on the deal. So I don't know,
one thing I was going to say is the Netflix deal actually helps Netflix a lot. And the reason why I say that is, while their shows are great and their stuff is great, one thing that kind of kicked them in the butt is when they started cracking down on people sharing their accounts.
Yep.
Well, if I say it and I get in trouble, you'll know why I'm canceled. All right. So speaking of sharing things, actually, I used to get Peacock all the time on a device I have. I don't want to necessarily give my information fully out there, but I've noticed recently I can't watch WWE premium live events anymore, and I'm not getting Peacock anymore. Now I know why. In the last month, I can't get WWE Network or anything else Peacock related on a box and device. Everything else I can get. So it's funny you said those things. Also here, season starting 8, more details in the month of March. So that's when the
Yeah.
season, you'll see more details.
Ooh.
You can go to the Tennessee Backyard Wrestling pages here. You may know them. If you didn't know them, you can know them anyway. And also, Mr. Davison wants to know if anybody wants to play Fortnite with him again. So he wants to know. That's obviously a question that, obviously.
Don't know.
And speaking of people I'd like to say hello to, by the way, you might want to see him in the chat. Mr. Jack Delta. Mr. Delta, I hope you're doing well out there. I just want to give a big congratulations to Mr. Delta because apparently he's in Illinois wrestling now. He had just been in the 9th state that Mr. Delta has been. So, Mr. Delta, hope you're doing well. I was wondering, does Mr. Delta fly with Delta when he goes to the States? I think seriously, it's a funny question.
Delta Airlines.
You get a Delta. Does Mr. Delta get like a Delta discount, like Delta Sky Miles? That's a little. We did have a day for Jack on Sportswire, so maybe I was thinking that maybe Delta, in recognition of Jack Delta Day on Sportswire, maybe he would get like a permanent discount, like for Jack Delta miles. Like the Jack Delta miles. It was funny. It was very funny. It was definitely very.
Congrats to him on that debut at Warehouse.
Yes.
Definitely, yeah. Congratulations.
And I think it's the.
It was like the when it was kind of like seeing his old like people like they were in like MEBW, WWE.
Yes.
So it was like kind of all came together out there. It was pretty.
And
cool.
I think, am I not mistaken? Was it 3 years, Jack Delta, since you were in Omega, Michigan Wrestling? I think was it three years? I think I read on Instagram something like that.
Yeah, and they just hit 1,000 subscribers.
Yes, I saw. Yes, and I subscribed right afterwards, so it's probably 1,000 and change. So
yeah,
congratulations to those guys. I think a couple of guys on Sportswire have covered, but Jack's got a funny line. He says, "Nah, they packed me in the luggage with Spirit Airlines. Not the bumps that hurt me." So, let me get this straight. Your name might be Jack Delta, right? I gotta. I know we'll come back to people. I'll come back to WWE. But your name is Jack Delta, right? So I got that. So you're telling me that when you show your ID, you show your information, they don't say, all right, your name's Delta too. Maybe you can get a discount. Maybe you get like some extra frequent flyer miles, some different rewards, anything, whether it's, let's say, free refreshments, free, I don't know, extra pillows, whatever it might, because you're obviously flying all over the place. You're obviously going to different places. So I would think naturally that Jack Delta would get something, especially from Delta Airlines. I don't know. You know what? Maybe we're going to have, Mr. Delta, I'm going to have to call Delta tomorrow. I'm going to call him and say it's Sportswire Radio, the Reverend Tom Bryce, obviously heard worldwide around the world. Why doesn't Jack Delta have a discount related to Delta Airlines? So we're going to certainly fix that here. Also, Mr. Davidson still wants to be friends. We all want to be friends. I agree with you guys on that. Okay, so obviously in the remaining time, anything else you guys want to say toward WrestleMania? Anything you might look for or expect it to? Also, I got to ask you guys this question. What do you guys think will happen with Sting's retirement matchup coming? That's a good topic.
Actually, there's a couple. That topic actually leads into another topic. So, do we think Mercedes Moné is making her debut at Big Time Business in Boston?
Probably.
She's from Boston, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
We announced the event in Boston last night, and that's what is that, March 13th?
Somewhere around there.
Lucky 13, and Sting's last match is the 6th in Greensboro, right?
I really don't think it'll be his last match. I don't.
Why don't you think it's going to be his last match?
I feel like it should be Darby. I feel like it's going to happen, but I don't know.
You mean?
I mean,
if I have it.
Sting past.
Not to give anything away, right? I don't know if you guys listen to Jeff Jarrett's podcast or not, but they were talking about the same topic. If it will be Sting's last match, and we have the elephant in the room, quote unquote, in Ric Flair, right? Ric Flair and Sting have this long history. Wouldn't it make sense for Sting's eventually got to fall on a banana peel? He's eventually got to lose a match. He can't end his career undefeated. I mean, are we not going to see something that Ric Flair does? He's done it so many times on Sting. I mean, I'm just waiting for that moment. I mean, to
be fair, Sting was a horseman back in the day, so there you go. I mean, to be fair.
Wait.
Who was the last match in Nitro history?
Yeah,
Flair and Sting. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
Oh gosh, we're gonna put Flair.
okay.
They
I
even
wanna
wrestled
say
with
this.
Impact. Didn't they have a match? I'm pretty sure Flair and Sting
that
had a
yeah,
match.
it was a
Uh,
legends match.
Horrible
Yeah,
match. It was horrible. I mean,
yeah.
it's the
Damn.
Mick Foley Ric Flair match,
so
but
Oh, but I guess we're
Okay.
getting Flair versus Sting.
so hear me out here. Okay, so have you guys seen the new like what the Young Bucks are doing? Their new like Nicholas and Matthew Jackson, how they dress. And if you
Yeah.
I saw a spoiler of their new entrance.
Oh,
And you know who else? They're looking kind of stylish now. And what if Flair turns on Sting and aligns himself with the Young Bucks?
It's gotta
okay.
come though. And listen, it really. You're telling me that Ric Flair, okay, Ric Flair, Mr. Ric Flair, right, back in AEW, he's got this long-standing back and forth relationship with Sting. You mean to tell me, and I'll get to comments in a second on this, you mean to tell me that Ric Flair, Mr. Nature Boy himself, to fall on the banana peel eventually? I'm just saying.
Otherwise, the
And
other
Sting's always been gullible with Flair. Sting has always been gullible. Always been gullible with Flair.
otherwise, take Flair out of it. I honestly see this match, this whole retirement thing, also how you turn Darby heel.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying.
I think I would be with that. You said Titan about Darby and Sting. I think Darby and Sting would be good. You eventually got it. I mean, because you've been grooming Darby for 4 years, right? I mean, you have to do something to elevate him.
He needs to retire Sting to move on to pass the torch.
Yeah, that's what I'm about to bring. Yeah, to have Sting pass the torch, do the job to Darby. Yeah, that'll be kind of a good thing. Good thing for Sting to go.
Another match, actually, we could probably talk about right now that was for Revolution, because we got Sting's last match, which we now know is probably going to be for the tag titles.
Yeah.
We have.
Were you guys all right with that though? I feel like Sting didn't need a championship. I kind of don't. I don't like it, to be honest.
I get the logic. I read a thing about it. He didn't want to do it, but I also get the logic of behind why they did it.
Why? Because they're trying to sell more. They opened up 600 more tickets in the.
No. It's because of the fact that, like, in general, looking at the story, it was perfect how they are being built, how the team was being built. They have won. They haven't
every
lost
match.
any.
Yeah, but I don't think he needs a championship.
He doesn't. But look at it this way. It's kind of that one last thank you.
But AEW is so hypocritical. I'm sorry, because they talked about the fact that they're not going to do the things with the past and the old guys. And what do? They do?
Yeah, but also look at. Okay, here's the thing though. With Sting, I kind of make an exception because he has done so much, and he still is doing so much for this business.
Yeah, I agree.
Whereas,
but he doesn't need the championship, though.
No, he doesn't. But it's gonna put the Young Bucks over again. It's gonna put the Young Bucks over.
The young cunts are the EVP. They're the EVPs, for God's sake. And I don't like them. I'm sorry, I don't like them.
It's a smart idea for that character because the whole internet community hates them. So they want to play that part.
I think if you would have just given me, I'm with you. I think when this came up about 2 months ago, where he was going to retire, to me, Sting and Darby passed the torch. That's it. I think that's, to me. Or if you would have did Sting versus Chris Jericho, that would have been cool with me. Or even if you wanted to, also if you wanted to, because here's a twist, and I'll get to Mr. Delta and Mr. Kron in a second. But Sting and Jarrett have history, and Jarrett, by the way, was in a tag match with Flair. I think Sting and Jarrett have had some legendary wars. I would have been okay, and Jarrett's still in great shape. Jarrett can still go. I would have been good with that also, by the way.
So here's the thing. If I'm not basically reading everything, finding out about that, a lot of people were upset, but the call to face the Young Bucks in a tag match with Darby was Sting's idea, and the reason why is because of the first Forbidden Door 8 tag team match that he did with them.
Oh,
He
okay.
said
Mm.
Sting literally has they found somebody talked to him, and he apparently Sting had said that it was the funnest match he's ever been in, and it was thanks to
Oh,
Young
right.
Bucks.
Yes, I do remember that match. I had a couple of people
And-
who wanted to
and-
say a few things. Yeah, jump in.
And I'll say this: that's what wrestling is you got to have fun doing it. And Sting, I think, for his last match, wants to have fun, and working with the Young Bucks, it's gonna be a fun
Well,
match.
conversely, that's where I would agree with you on. Conversely, Sting and the Young Bucks, the Derby is better than, let's say, going down memory lane and Sting versus Jarrett for the 800th time, or like even Sting and Edge or Adam Copeland or Sting and Christian. That we've seen that before, or Sting and, let's say, Flair, quote unquote. So yeah, I would agree with you on those things. I hate to say it, but I think they dropped the titles to the Bucks. There has to be a banana peel he slips on at some point. He can't go undefeated. I mean, but Jack Welch is a different take. He thinks they'll retain. He thinks they'll vacate the titles, and there'll be a tournament for the titles. I mean,
That's also that's also an option. Yeah.
Winning the titles adds prestige to the titles. I'd rather see Sting win it than half of the tag teams on the roster. Saying Sting won those titles means a lot to people who will eventually win them. Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
I see the point. I just look at it like in AEW, Sting is 63 years old. Like, I understand the point.
PCO?
What's that, Mr. Cranston? What's that?
How old is PCO?
56, I want to say 57. I mean, when
Okay.
he was Ring of Honor champion, he had to have been. You're talking about when he won the Ring of Honor world title. He had to have been
like
53.
53.
Yeah, like 52ish maybe.
PCO, aka Carl Ouellet. Yep. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the man who won in another life wrestled Bret the Hitman Hart over his leather jacket. Yep, that's correct. And by the way, that idea was from that one guy who has 3 initials who we can't say anymore. So you could clearly tell whose idea that was.
Also,
or the brawl for all. Rusev.
Oh God, yes,
bro.
I don't want to go Corey on here, folks. I don't want to go Corey on here. No.
But what's funny is another pay-per-view that was recently happened was TNA Hard to Kill.
Yep.
And sucks that they apparently just let go
their president.
Yeah. But hopefully they do have some people that
now, could you guys sign him in TBW? Is there any chance you guys could sign him? You're the owner, Mr. Allen. Do you think it'd be a possibility? You could forget about signing James Taylor for a second. Would you, any chance you could reach out to Mr. DeMore? You guys were on Barstool.
But
Josh, you got to do that.
You were saying though, Mr. Crenson.
I'm out to get in touch.
TNA, even before the rebrand, I think has been one of the most consistent and best promotions in the past 3 years. And the thing that solidified it for me watching the pay-per-view was I literally watched this pay-per-view and there was at least 3 match of the years on that show.
Hammerstone and Alexander, right? It was on one of them.
Oh God. If you ever want to see what a belly-to-belly brainbuster looks like, watch that match. Then also, you got...
Oh, for God's sake.
No comment. I'm leaving. Move on.
Segue.
Move on.
Then we had the Jordan Grace Trinity Knockouts title match, and then the main event between Alex Shelley and Moose, which just solidified how brilliant Alex Shelley is as a wrestler and how
I was just on a podcast, and Alex Shelley's on an independent wrestling show that I was on a podcast with. He's in Dreamwave Wrestling this week. Alex Shelley, I mean, what a GCW, his work's been great. I mean, we spoke about that off the air. I mean, Alex Shelley is just
Alex Shelley is one of my main influences in wrestling, and it's because he has such a good mind for the business. Like, Good example. Watch any of his like stuff that he on Click This with Kevin Nash, where they're talking about TNA and stuff like that. They talk about the infamous Paparazzi Productions.
Oh yes, I remember that. Yes, I do remember that. That's a while ago. Boy, that's a way back reference. Yep, I remember that.
And like he kind of gets a lot of the key things in wrestling. He's one of the best minds in wrestling.
Oh, for sure, for sure. Okay, let me get to a couple comments here before we get to a final few thoughts here and go for the evening. A guy that Mr. Crenson, a man that protege of yours, says Roman Reigns. By the way, you got to spell, buddy. You got to spell better.
Yeah, buddy,
Roman
come on.
Region. Who is Roman Region?
Roman
Roman Region. What is
Is that a new
Am I
signing?
like back in government class again, history class? Roman Region, but yeah, Roman Region
I
won't
mean,
be
the Roman
Cody.
Empire.
Roman Reigns might be Cody. By the way, he put Wrestling Maine. What
That's
is
my new
wrestling?
name. I'm changing my name. The Roman
Atomic Region?
Roman Region
Oh,
Hardcore Champion.
You know what? Next time you come on Sportswire, maybe I'll prepare a certificate that says Atomic Region on all atomic regions on Sportswire.
Oh, God. Oh, Lord.
He said
Maybe.
sorry, though. It's okay. We're just having fun with you, Tyler. And I'll see you on Sportswire in a few weeks. I promise you. Sting winning with Darby is fine. It's not like when Flair and Roddy Piper. Oh, yeah. Was that Taboo Tuesday or something like that? One of those goofy pay-per-views?
It was either Taboo Tuesday or Cyber Sunday.
Yeah, one of those. They won it for like what?
Those
2
couple
weeks, maybe.
weeks.
You know, but I have a further one that's goofy before we move to closing this. You remember when Bret Hart, quote unquote, won the United States Championship in 2010 when he really couldn't wrestle?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
That was there. Nothing to me could be as goofier as that. Bless Bret Hitman
And
Hart.
then R-Truth won the title.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, that's. And he said he thinks it should be Roman Reigns versus The Rock. He spelled well. But speaking of, yep, go ahead. I want to give a big hello to, by the way, real quick, on our buddy, very good friend of ours, Mr. Joseph Tibbs of Resurrection.
They called me
You're
Mr.
going to be
Tibbs.
in Iowa wrestling, but in Tennessee, we've also got Lockdown. And you can, if there's actually a way, you could actually watch both shows at different times because you're going on in the later in the evening. They're going on earlier in the afternoon. So we love Resurrection. Really excited about the West Memphis kid, Ronnie Brady, here next Thursday. And thank you, Mr. Tibbs, for all of your support, all your kind words. We just love talking to Tibbs. We speak all the time, and I'm really, really big fan of him. TNA has to cut half of the guys on the roster. TNA has one of the best women's roster today. Yep, absolutely. But the men's side is filled with little, basically, how can I put it in a nice way? Card fillers. Old men. Yeah, you're basically saying PCO, right? PCO can't move. And TNA has, well, Bully Ray's a part of the roster. I mean, Tommy Dreamer's a part of the roster. So, yeah, I mean, the men's side's not as good as the women's side. I mean,
honestly, it's fine as long as you got your main event and your key spots already figured out. And the X Division roster is stacked.
very good.
The main event. The main roster has just gotten even more stacked because you've got Nemeth, you've got Shelley, you've got Sabin, you've got Moose, you've got Macklin, you've got Cardona. If I think he's still there, actually.
Probably sometimes.
I don't think he's there. Macklin's there. Yes, Macklin.
You have Eric Young. You have Eddie Edwards.
Eddie Edwards has had a nice last few.
You have Dirty. Yep. You have Dango. Dango's been on fire this year. You have Joe Hendry.
I gotta give Joe Hendry, and if I don't do this, I'm gonna certainly be in a lot of trouble. Joe Hendry actually started out I think ICW, and a guy that's actually a big fan of ours on Sportswire is Davey Blaze, and Davey Blaze has a long history with Joe Hendry. So Davey Blaze and Joe Hendry, you can go back and look at the wars, but Joe Hendry was a phenomenal talent. He's back from the same region as like Nikki Cross and Finn Balor. And Joe Hendry's a phenomenal talent.
I remember watching Hendry and Martin Kirby feud over the WCW title.
You know Martin Kirby? Martin Kirby actually.
Martin
Kirby? Do you know Johnny
My
Storm?
I have I used to watch watch What Culture, and I've seen WCPW, and that's where I saw Martin Kirby in WCPW because he had one of the best matches I've ever seen with Will Ospreay.
You got to watch him with Johnny Storm. They've been having wars, and also him with our buddy who's in our Hall of Fame, by the way, Dean Allmark. Not Johnny Storm, Martin Kirby. Martin Kirby, actually, no joke. I'm going to tell you all this real quick. I know it's going to bore people, but Martin Kirby wrestled more times last year than anybody on the entire WWE roster. He is one of the few independent wrestlers in Britain that actually makes a living as a wrestler. He wrestled, I think, last year something like 153 times. No joke. He even I've spoken to, I want to let you know, I've spoken to Martin Kirby. He knows why. We've spoke a few times, and I don't want to say who it was because I'll get in a lot of trouble on the air. But there was somebody that was pushing for me to have Martin Kirby come on Sportswire. You got to get Martin Kirby. He's watched us on the show. And, I spoke with Martin Kirby, and I was like, I said, so-and-so, blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, can I bring you on to Sportswire? He knew who I'm friends with him on Facebook. Go on my profile, Tom Bryce, you'll see it. Martin Kirby was like, I just don't do podcasts. Sorry, because I wrestle like every day. He literally, no joke, this guy wrestles literally almost every day. I kid you not. He wrestled 153 times last year. He literally is like, Jack Delta. We love Jack Delta on sports. We had Jack Delta Day, but even Jack Delta doesn't wrestle as many times as Martin Kirby. He wrestled 153 times last year.
Dang.
Yeah, he's like,
That's
and
incredible.
by the way, I just want to let you know, he's been doing the same thing for 20 years. 20 years. 20 years.
Awesome.
All right, well, let me get to a few comments here. And Mr. Taylor and Miss going back and forth at Mr. Delta, we'll see everybody Sunday. All right, so this has been a lot of fun. Obviously, we'll certainly talk for sure a lot more in the future. Mr. Crenson, I know I think I have you next Friday, by the way, Mr. Crenson. You're on the show. And by the way, if you're here tonight, you're going to want to tune in next Friday because we have our first live match being streamed on Sportswire Radio. I am going to do such a, you're going to want to tune in because I'm going to do such a bad job of calling a match that you guys need to be like, you know what? Now we really got to throw Tom off Sportswire Radio. We have a match. It's going to be Joe Stone. He's the DKW World Champion, a Combat Joe now, against Freddie Daniels. You know Freddie very well, Nicholas. And I'm calling the match next Friday. So we don't have an exact time. But if you want to see me do such a bad job at commentary that the TBW commentators would be like, wow, he's so bad, we couldn't even use him in TWF.
Wait, I just realized something. Freddie has two matches this weekend.
Well, and I'm calling one of the matches, and I'm telling you, you're going to want to tune into this because like I said, I'm going to do such a bad job that they're going to be like, wow, we're never going to want Tom with the microphone. We're never going to want to have him anywhere near Sportswire. And the guys who call the matches in TBW are going to be like, wow, we'll never call on him. I mean, we're going to definitely never want him to call matches. The guys who used to call the matches in WCE, wink, wink, are going to be like, never call him for commentary. We definitely don't want him.
Honestly, I always say if I'm doing any type of commentary, I'll try to learn the wrestlers what wrestlers call their moves.
Well, I don't want to tell you what I have in my back pocket. All I want you to do is watch the match and just watch and make fun. But actually, no, it's going to be a great match. I can't wait for it. I want to thank the guys in the IMF for setting this up, and I'm really looking forward to people to tune in.
Honestly, I'll say this: Freddie Daniels has a lot of potential.
Yeah, Freddie, and Freddie's going to be taking the championship, I have no doubt, very soon. I'm not saying anything further. He might be the DKW champion by the time we're done off the air at that match. But you know what? Obviously, let's get to some closing thoughts. I'm going to go first with you, Mr. Titan. Maybe you'll be called Atomic Region after this. Maybe you'll be called Hollywood Titan. But you are a hardcore king. We are respecting you. Let's give you some closing thoughts. And happy belated birthday once again.
Thank you.
The floor is yours to fire away.
I'm ready for season 8 of TBW. It's going to be awesome. We built a new stage. Ring is being put back together soon for this. But like I said, I'm accepting anybody that wants to come face me for this right here. James Taylor, if you're watching, you know what's best for you. Come to Tennessee, face the hottest thing going today in TBW, the hardcore champion.
I'm gonna throw
It's
up.
your old news, and if you think that's right, like, you know where I'm at.
Certainly, you know what? Listen, yeah, definitely the fireworks are going to go up because I promise you, well, Sunday there'll be fireworks. But you know what? Listen, Jimmy Controversy does not want you. We know that Mac 10 doesn't want you. Mikey
don't.
Anarchy doesn't want you. Certainly the Grim Reaper, Joe Anderson, doesn't want you. Manny Cobra definitely doesn't want you. Listen, Jacob Young, no way, no way. So ultimately, you know what? We're going to find out. You want to follow Atomic Titan on all platforms, TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, all of them on Atomic Titan. We acknowledge our hardcore king on all Sports by Radio platforms. Mr. Allen, I want to give you the floor. Obviously, one of our two Hall of Famers with closing thoughts. I want to give you anything else you want to say, and I hope that you guys are out there on the 17th for Resurrection Show. I'm really excited about that. I can't wait to speak with Ronnie Brady. So excited about that. And we have D'Angelo LaFlame the next day after the show. So anything else, though, for you, my friend? And the floor is yours, and fire away.
Well, first, I want to thank the Reverend for allowing us on there again, as well on the program here. If you're also to plug Resurrection again, if you're in the Memphis area or the downtown Memphis area, had the Growlers for the lockdown. The next month they're having their other event there as well. Thank you, Nicholas, for hopping in here and just shooting the breeze and hanging out with us and everything. Also, I was going to bring this up entertainment-wise. We have lost two people in the entertainment world. We've lost Carl Weathers, who betrayed the Apollo Creed in the Rocky series from Rocky 1 to 4. And plus, Toby Keith passed away.
Oh, my God. And by the way, wrestling history is with Toby Keith because we saw him way back in the day with TNA.
Yep.
TNA, yeah.
Suplex Jeff Jarrett, yep.
On WWE a few times.
Yep.
As a guest.
Yeah, that it kind of growing up as
I didn't realize Toby Keith was that old. I didn't realize he was 62. I was like,
I didn't.
Honestly, I thought he was older.
I mean, when you saw the old man on the award show, he looked bad, really bad.
I know. When I saw the last photo, I was like, okay. I remember him as like Toby Keith, and I was like, wow.
He was a little bit heavier, a little bit more, all that, and. It just didn't look like him, and I guess when he sung that, it was kind of poetic. It's like he knew. They say like before you go, like when it's going to happen, or you feel, I don't know, but it just what a loss to the music world and the entertainment world as well.
Yeah, Carl Weathers also was interesting because he actually played in the NFL for 2 years, played a little bit in the CFL. And then obviously, did the Rocky movies, and then he did Happy Gilmore, and then most recently he was in the Star Wars series that they just put out, The Mandalorian. So just was he sick though, Carl Weathers? I was wondering, did he like?
I don't know what the cause of it was. I'm not for sure.
That's my heart goes out to obviously all the fans of Toby Keith and certainly Carl Weathers, certainly for wrestling fans impacted with Toby Keith and certainly Carl Weathers, NFL player, also actor, and
Funny thing is, my very first theme in wrestling was Toby Keith.
Oh shit!
Sweet.
What song was that? What did it come out to?
I want to talk about me.
I used to sing all the time as a kid growing up. I remember when I was like an infant singing that.
And I honestly
I'm serious.
I'll never escape that. But I will also say this.
I'm serious. I ain't lying, dude.
I got as soon as I got a chance to actually pick my own theme, because I didn't pick that theme, I switched it fast. I am not a country music guy myself. I love
you never look like a country music. Jovi, I would have said all right. I would have made sense with Jovi.
I like Garth Brooks, and I like weird, obscure country type bands like Devil Makes 3.
Okay.
We just live so close to Nashville that it's just we hear it everywhere.
Yeah.
Yep. I think he had stage 4 for Toby. Yeah.
It's terrible, and but we want everybody to follow. Before I get to Mr. Crenson to sign off, TBW's here for Mr. Allen, all those platforms. Check them out: Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, Tennessee Backyard Wrestling. want to buy merchandise, I'm doing that right after we get off the air. Look forward to buying. To be neutral, I'm buying a TBW shirt. I've decided it's a TBW shirt. You know what? I could do the Woo Man. I could do you. I could do anybody. But, let me just buy the classic TBW shirt. I think, let's just go classic and make everybody happy and, kind of just throw it out there. But, Mr. Cranston, I want to give you some closing thoughts. Obviously, I see you also here next Friday after I do such a bad job of calling the match between Mr. Daniels and Mr. Stone. And I want to give you the floor, give you some closing thoughts. And anything else you want to plug, share, or say? And looking forward to it. And 2 Hall of Famers here. One guy's had his own day, and also it was TBW day here today. So all great stuff. But Mr. Cranston, the floor is yours, and I'm looking forward to more stuff with all you gentlemen.
First I want to say congratulations again to Josh for being the Hall of Fame. Atomic Titan, nice to finally meet you, buddy. Congratulations on having TBW declared. And Atomic Titan, I am gonna say at some point we might meet down the line. I don't know. I might have to take a trip down to Tennessee soon.
All right, sounds good.
That'd be fun. And I
never.
Look, I'm down to face anybody. Like, I like making connections in wrestling and meeting people.
Well, that's what I'm here for. I know. Yeah. Listen, before we sign off, I'll handle this one. I know there's a lot of stuff. We hear different things on Sportzwire, but really, I want people to connect. That's why, we've had this hashtag All Wrestling Matters. And I know of late, one person says this, another person says that, but ultimately what we're really trying to do is give those people an opportunity if they want. Obviously one of the things I was happy about, Mr. Allen, was at the end of last year, you and Mr. Fletcher got a chance to talk for the first time. I thought that was great. XCW just had a show, Cold Day in Hell, and I got a chance to watch most of the show before we went on the air, and they have been, phenomenal. And I know there's a lot of talk. Yeah. I know, I'm sure maybe one day you guys could work with them.
We've been in talks.
A lot of the guys I know are big fans of your guys, and they've been very supportive of us here on Sportswire. Mr. Fletcher, we play his podcast on our radio station, and Jack Delta is technically an XCW guy. He was their New Age champion. So I think what was great to see XCW, Mr. Fletcher, and yourself connect for the first time. Also, Resurrection Wrestling, the relationships. I know that they've been talking to some different people like the IMF and obviously you guys and Mr. Tibbs, of course. Resurrection's been one of my favorite companies to work with. Great guys the last couple of months. Our guys in DBW or out there, VTW, you guys in VTW are like the biggest places. Also, working with WCE over the years, the IMF boys love everything the IMF has done. And, our guys, Legendary Backyard Wrestling also out there. And, just all the companies that have come on to Sportswire. I want to recognize them, ROEW, CBW, also TBK. Yep. We just missed you, buddy. Obviously, I look forward to hearing your podcast. I'll see you tomorrow night. Definitely 10 o'clock. And that's what it's about. I want to connect people if the opportunities are there and we can connect people in, different ways. I like to be able to do that. DBW, VTW, Amplified Wrestling. We're promoting a charity for a young girl impacted by Ewing sarcoma. I personally endorsed the event. I'm sponsoring it. I've donated to it. So that's what I'm about here, trying to connect people. And, that's what it is. People would never meet, but they're here. And, I want to thank everybody for tuning in. If you haven't got a chance to check out Sportswire Radio, we're on YouTube. You can do that very simply. If you want to follow the IMF and Resurrection Wrestling, you can do that here very simply. Resurrection Wrestling. Their tickers underneath. Check them out. Resurrection's next Saturday. TikTok at Resurrection Wrestling. IMF, their show's coming up. YouTube, IMF Wrestling 666. Also, if you want to follow our friends here at CCW in the UK, I hear they're looking for American talent. We got 3 gentlemen here. Maybe you want to connect with them. I don't know. But we're also here on our radio station. Check us out. And Steven Silvestri, real quick, if I could, before we go. Steven, one of my favorites. I know he's going through a couple different things. Want to say that, as I continue to say, anything I can do, let me know. I'm here. Love what you're doing at Resurrection. Can't wait for the 17th. Can't wait to have you back on after the 17th. And, you're going through something. My thoughts are with you. And thank you for all the great videos. And, great stuff. And we'll see everybody soon. And also for you, Mr. Silvestri, Ronnie Brady's here in these guys' chair next Thursday night. So in those chairs, you're going to see the West Memphis kid, Ronnie Brady. But until then, my voice has got nothing left. So we're going to say goodbye to everybody on YouTube, Twitch, Twitter, sportswireradio.org, and including our hardcore king. Respect him one more time. The TBW hardcore champion, only Grand Slam winner, Atomic Titan. Well, hold on to that. Not so fast, my friends. Lee Corso would say, owner and CEO and founder of TBW, Mr. Joshua Allen, also in our Hall of Fame. And a Hall of Famer inducted last week is our 28th member, Nicholas Crenton, the new Messiah, who's going to be wrestling for the IMF's King of the Center tournament. He's wrestling against Mephisto. We're going to talk about that next Friday on the air. My name, you probably know by now, the Reverend Tom Bryce, your voice of all wrestling, where all wrestling matters. I'll see everybody at 3 o'clock with Ronnie Thatcher, 10 o'clock Eastern Time for C2K to be inducted into the Hall of Fame, then SmackDown talking more. But until then, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are. On the number one. Global Radio Houston to Sportswire Radio. And one more time, after the big game, James Taylor takes his place in history, and James Taylor finally addresses where he's going. Is he coming home to TBW? Is he going to Alabama? Is he going Indy? Or maybe he's going, I don't know, maybe going back to the Nemesis Sessions. Could be. Nobody's talked about him going back to the Nemesis Sessions. I mean, that's a good one. Stay tuned for all of it, though. And also, Joseph Tibbs also says, may have to come out of retirement to face Atomic Titan. Could be Joseph.
You want to come
Atomic
it?
Titan?
Yeah, I mean, if he wants it, come on.
You know what?
Norman.
Controversy don't want Atomic Titan.
None of them do.
Ken don't want Atomic Titan. Mikey Anarchy don't want Atomic Titan. Maybe Omen Black doesn't.
Someone needs to step up.
I mean, for God's sake, I mean, you got their Shoji GP, Omen Black, Tarzan Duran, for God's sake. I mean, good grief. There's some names for you.
You know what? Is Madman Pondo's going back and doing a tour? So, I mean, Madman Pondo's around. I mean, apparently.
I need a challenger for this in season
Angel
8.
Santiago is out there. He's coming back next Saturday, and he just wrestled Obey. I mean, he's another GTS.
Oh, another one. Obey, yeah.
Obey came on here with a gun, by the way. I want to say Obey.
Oh, yeah.
He's really hardcore. But until then, thank you, everybody. I'll see everybody tomorrow. And we'll be back on the number one global radio station where all wrestling matters, Sportswire.